Hello friends, my name is Shayla and today I am here to talk about the things that I reread in the month of June. I reread a book series and a manga series in the month of June, so we have 3 novels and then 10 volumes of manga. So I'm going to be discussing those in this video. I do this every month. I will leave the playlist linked for you if you're interested in other things that I've reread throughout the year. So first up, let's briefly talk about the manga series that I reread in the month of June, and that was Dreamin Sun by Ichigo Takano. Now, when I first started reading this initially a couple years back, it was one of my favorite series. It was 5 stars through a good chunk of this series, but I didn't love how it ended, so I opted to reread it in June to see, sorry, there's something on it here, to see if it remained on like my favorites shelf, if it remained in my collection at all, because of how it ends. And after a reread, I did decide to keep it in my collection, but it is no longer living on my favorites shelf. If you want to know more details as to why, I do have a reaction vlog that'll be linked for you, but I am going to briefly tell you about the series and kind of my general thoughts right here. So in this series, we follow a young woman named Shimana. Shimana's family dynamic has drastically changed. Her mother passed away, and her dad is now remarried, and she has a new baby brother, and she doesn't feel like she fits within her own family. Because she feels like she doesn't fit, she decides to run away. And in the park, she sees this drunk man who's been locked out of his house. And the drunk man, once he starts to sober, offers to let her stay at his basically boarding house. He's got a couple other teenagers that live in this house with him, and they're actually people who attend her school. One is named Zen, the other is named, I want to say his name is Asahi. Yeah, his name's Asahi. And so she has to kind of, the arrangement for living there is mostly just to have a soft place to land. She has to let her parents know, and she has to learn how to love and have like a goal and something she wants to accomplish in life. And so that's kind of the circumstances that lead her to living in this boarding house with Taiga, the adult man, and these other 2 classmates of hers. In this is an age gap romance between Shimana and Taiga. Now, Taiga was not who I wanted her to be with. I wanted her to be with Zen, my panda man, a guy her same age who's really sweet and fun and just loves life and pandas, and he's adorable and I love him. But she ends up with Taiga. Now, the character arcs that these characters go through are good, which is why it's going to remain on my shelf. But I still wanted Zen to win. I would love a spin-off series following Zen and his romantic interest. Like, I would love that. Please, Takano, if you're listening to this at all, I would love to see a spin-off following Zen and his little romantic interest that we get to meet later on in the series. I won't say who that is because that's spoilers. But in this, we get to know all of the housemates, their family dynamics, what led them to living in the boarding house, all those kinds of things. It's fantastic. It really is well done, which is why it's still in my collection, but it isn't a favorite anymore. And this is the first time that something's been like moved from where it was originally on my shelf. So I've been loving rereading my manga series this year, and so I'm really interested. Up in July, we'll be doing Neon Genesis Evangelion, and now that I've had some time away from that, I'll be really interested to see what it'll be like getting back into that one. All right, the other thing that I ended up rereading in the month of June was the entirety of the Renegades Trilogy by Marissa Meyer. Now, this is a very beloved series here on BookTube, and it is a book series about superheroes. We have the heroes and we have the villains. We primarily follow 2 perspectives. We have Nova, who is a young woman who as a child, some sort of thief came into her house and basically killed her entire family. She barely got out alive and was saved by her uncle Ace, or Ace Anarchy, the biggest villain in this world. And after Ace has died, she continues to live with the villains and is now trying to infiltrate the good guys, or the renegades, for the purposes of the villains. And the other perspective we primarily follow is Adrian, a guy that she meets who happens to be the son of the two biggest heroes in this world. He has his own ambitions and has a secret identity, and that's how he comes across Nova initially, but they end up on the same Renegades team. So we primarily follow their two perspectives as they figure out this world and try to make the world a better place, both from different directions, I guess you could say. Now, this series, on a reread, it is much more fleshed out throughout than when I first read it. The middle book, Arch Enemies, does not feel so much like a middle book on a reread as it does the first read through, because there's a lot of things being woven together through that second novel that you don't really connect together till you get to the end. So I did enjoy rereading this series. I reread it for a special project. I'm doing a collab. We're going to be doing it on my birthday. I'm really excited. And it'll be August 1st, for those of you who don't know when my birthday is. We're really excited. We'll be discussing the Renegades Trilogy as well as the Lunar Chronicles Trilogy. We're kind of having a Marissa Meyer face-off. This will be on Steve over at the Lawn Gnomes channel. So he and April, the other person doing this with me, will be linked down below, so you can definitely check them out. I'm really genuinely excited to be doing this project with them, and it's been a joy to reread so much Marissa Meyer in 2020. I have reread the entire Lunar Chronicles this year, so if you're checking out the playlist, you will see book by book on that one. We're trying to get the project done sooner than I initially thought, so I ended up rereading the entire series in July so that I had plenty of time to have everything to mull over. But in general, I enjoyed parts of this better on a second read, but for me, it does not trump my love or my feelings for the Reckoners trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. It's hard for me to not compare the two because I did read the Reckoners first. And the way they come out the hero, anti-hero thing in the in the Reckoners trilogy, they even have similar names. It's hard for me. So in the Reckoners, I just really liked Sanderson's take on it a little bit better than Marissa Meyer's. Not that this is bad. It's still thoroughly enjoyable. And I think if you read one or the other, like, they're both good. When you read them both, it's hard to not compare them because there are some similarities. This is a really solid series. 4 stars straight across the board. Really enjoy it. Definitely still recommend it. And it's not leaving my shelves or my collection. Obviously, I still really enjoy Marissa Meyer's writing. I doubt there's going to be something she could write where I'm genuinely going to hate it, just because I like the style of her writing. But yes, Renegades was like I said, it was a journey for me. Nova graded on me a little bit more on a reread than she did the first go around, especially in this first book. So that was probably the biggest take for me, because I think originally I rated this like 4.5 or 5 stars, but I dropped it to a 4 because my enjoyment with Nova as a character in this first book was much harder. I didn't enjoy her nearly as much. But with that said, those are the things that I reread in the month of June. Let me know in the comments down below if you reread it all. And if so, what have you reread recently? And thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.